It's that time again. It's the podcast that takes your personal and professional life to a whole new level. Whether you're selling a product, selling a service, or selling yourself, one thing is for sure. You're always selling for life.
Welcome to another Selling for Life podcast. Sponsored by Iconic Parts, a world of parts with a personal touch. I'm Steve, and I'm joined by a couple good fellas in the room here. First, we've got the owner of Iconic Parts, Google client, and overall good guy, Al Alexander. Hello, Al. Whoop, whoop. There's the whoop, whoop. And we're also joined by sales professional and former Lancaster Redskins wrestler Kevin Ziliaks.
No. But yeah, I'm here.
Weren't you at Frontier?
I went to Iroquois.
Oh, I'm sorry. Iroquois wrestler extraordinary. Weren't you a wrestling champion there? Didn't you go to States?
Heavyweight champion, dude.
You went to States, and awesome. I think weren't you in that movie Quicksilver with Matthew Modine?
I don't even know Vision what that Quest? Is, bro.
Okay.
Was that Kevin Bacon in that movie?
Different Kevin.
Matthew Modine, and he was a wrestler, and he had to get down to weight. That was with Madonna, right?
Madonna's a wrestler, too? I didn't know that.
Bob, do you want to get on a microphone? Or?
No. Bob, that's a challenge.
Talk about challenge. We got a story that has something to do with a challenge. But first, this is episode 46. Let's get this podcast started with some.
All right, let's get pumped up, man.
Yeah, let's get pumped up. We got a great little segment coming up here. Al came up with it on the fly downstairs while we were having lunch. But first, before we get to our topic, let's get to you know what, Al?
News headlines.
That's better. Al, why don't you start out? What do you got for a news headline?
Well, you'll be happy to know that there is a huge tanker that was bombed. Yeah.
Torpedoed. Yeah, I saw that was my story, but go ahead.
Holy crap, I took your story?
Yes, you did. Of course, that's like the big story of the day, so it's not a huge coincidence.
Let's get right into talking about it.
Yeah, what are the details? Because I don't know anything about it.
Dang.
Other than there's a huge explosion out in the Middle East, the Gulf or something?
Yeah, so there was actually two tankers in the Gulf of Oman on Thursday, right?
Right.
And
which is today.
One vessel was set ablaze.
Wow. And they believe it was a torpedo, right? I guess some of the crew members said they thought they saw a torpedo coming towards the ship.
Yeah.
Who owns the ships?
I think it's the United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
I bet you Trump did it.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Of course. Certainly has
something bad happens. It was because of Trump.
Well, it has to do with oil. So, probably actually Trump torpedoed those ships himself so he can somehow, some way claim the oil in that region, I guess.
Raise the price of oil.
Raise the price of oil, yeah. So
supply demand.
So his fat cats can get richer. Bob, what do you think?
I think he's a terrible guy.
That sounded just like Bob, honestly. That's about exactly what he sounded like.
That's all. No, but honestly, what's really exciting about it, even though Iranian officials have denied this, National Security Advisor says, no, it's almost certainly them.
We might be going to war with Iran, people.
I mean, I wouldn't take crap like this. This is the second time this has happened.
Yeah.
Just last month, it says 4 ships were attacked.
All right.
I didn't even know that.
Let's freaking, yeah.
How come the news doesn't ever talk about anything that's actually important?
I don't know.
Well, I got something that's important. But Kevin, do you have a story first before we...
Yeah.
What do you
know Big Papi?
Yes.
You know who that is?
Yes, I do.
Ortiz?
Yes, I do.
So he has a house in Dominican also. He lives in Boston. He's got houses all over probably. Anyway, so he was approached by a couple guys behind on a motorcycle. They shot him from behind. They had 2 vehicles basically cut him off. It was total like 6 people that orchestrated this attack, and he was shot from behind. He's recovering in a Massachusetts hospital right now.
I thought I saw the video, and he was like in a bar or something.
It was outside of a bar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe they just showed the inside of the bar when the shots went off?
Yeah, they weren't actually showing you the actual shooting, Steve.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I know that can be real.
Like a reenactment, maybe?
finally, I've got one here that has to do a little bit with war in the Gulf and, attacks and whatnot. Justin Bieber challenged Tom Cruise to a MMA fight.
What?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. Justin Bieber wants Tom Cruise to man up and get into the octagon with him.
Was this on Twitter?
A Twitter
Yes,
beef,
it
yo.
was. He said, basically something to the effect, let's see if he's man enough. And
That usually gets someone fired up.
Tom Cruise cares.
I know, right?
But here's the deal now. Justin Bieber just came out and said, hey, this was all a joke. And before I get on to that, though, it was funny because there's a website. I forget what the website's called. But they have wagers. It's basically a wagering website. And they have the money on Cruise to take out Bieber in a fight.
Really?
Yes. Odds Shark. Odds Shark, a
come on,
source
I'd take
online
that
for
bet.
handicapping.
I would take it.
Says, we don't like your odds, Justin. I guess they tweeted out. And, they said it was pretty pathetic that he was calling out a 56-year-old man. Bieber's what? 26, 27 years old?
But, dude, Tom does all of his own stunts.
That's right.
Still.
I think that's
Yeah.
what Odds Shark took into account when they said that Bieber was probably the underdog in this fight. But Bieber comes back out and he says yesterday on Wednesday that it was all a joke. He didn't really mean it, and he said Tom Cruise could probably take me.
Oh.
Well, he's just being a nice guy.
No, I don't think so.
He
You don't think
he
so?
got scared.
He got scared, and why do you think he got scared?
Just Tom Cruise probably called him.
Yeah, Tom Cruise's handlers probably called him,
Right?
said you come out
Dude, if that was me, I would make that call.
and you retract what you
Right.
say. You basically. Yeah, you backtrack, or else you're going to end up dead. That's what I think.
I don't know. See, I know because he used to be tight with Floyd Mayweather, Bieber, and Floyd. The one time there was something that happened, and he punched some bouncer in the face. Justin Bieber did.
Oh, yeah?
And Floyd was on like, yeah, well, I know Justin's he's not a wuss. Basically,
Yeah. Okay.
He's like
Cool.
he can hold his own for sure.
Really?
Okay.
Yep, this is coming from a professional boxer.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty good props, man.
Yeah, yeah. So
Maybe I have to rethink.
they were
my-
real tight. He would be at every fight
Yeah.
Oh,
with his
okay.
family sitting right in it. So they're close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably trained with him.
Oh, I'm sure. What
Good.
else is that guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, Kevin, do you think you could take Justin Bieber?
could I take Justin? Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Because
Al?
I'm not going to box with him for one.
Hold on. Let me just tell you about Kevin, okay? Last year.
He was the state champ at Iroquois in
Well,
wrestling.
hold on.
Was not.
Last year, we were at a Con-Equip event celebrating probably a monthly meeting. And all of a sudden, we got this big guy at work named Garrett. And Garrett Hart, he looks like Superman, right? But with his suit off. And he's got this idea he's going to take Kevin down because Kevin did something good or something he sold or whatever. And he comes behind Kevin and somehow, right? And again, Kevin isn't the tallest guy in the room, nor is the largest guy in the room. But all of a sudden, Kevin locked Garrett up, who's, a few 100 pounds, big. He does strongman competitions, right? And Kevin locked this dude up into a pretzel within seconds.
Really?
It was like he jumped into action.
Really?
I never seen anybody's reflexes so fast to wrap somebody up. It wasn't just I'm going to go in the action and defend myself. It was like a defense, offense, boom, within a second.
Wow.
Amazing. And Garrett stopped almost immediately. He went dead.
And I believe that because
I put him in a double bar.
What is that called?
A double bar?
Dude, that's
Double
awesome.
bar, holy cow.
He even has a name for it. I love
I didn't make up the name, but
the only double bar I ever saw was one I was staggering out of when I was single.
Was that last year or a year before? I don't
Yeah,
know.
probably.
Long story short, Kevin's the shiznit.
I believe it because Kevin's real quiet and he doesn't talk about it, and those are the guys you got to be careful. Be careful with.
And just so you know,
I'm the
I would not beat up Justin Bieber. I would lose. I'm the
Okay.
worst fighter ever.
So you say no?
You'd have to hurt my daughter or my wife. I have to have a reason to fight, and then I go into action and I black out, and usually I good things happen, but not until then.
What about Tom Cruise? Could you take on Tom Cruise?
No way. No.
No?
Did you ever see him in Risky Business? How he wore those underwear
yeah.
and and slid across the floor?
So now you're
Jacked.
I can't slide across the floor.
You're saying no, but do you really mean no?
No, I'm not a good fighter.
Your no means no.
I think I would take him.
No.
Under the right circumstances, like Al said.
You don't have to patronize me.
I do, though. I'm just, I think
thank
you'd
you.
win.
Kevin, could you take Floyd Mayweather in a fight?
In a fight, yeah. Not a boxing match.
Well, all this nonsense brings us to the topic of the day, and the topic of the day is... Does no mean no? I was trying to lead it in there, but you guys kept saying yes. Does no mean no, Al?
Dude, your plans.
Are you serious?
Your plans, we could tell. So we
very
refused. We refused to go along with it.
Oh, well, that's what we're going to talk about. When it comes to sales, does no mean no? When your customer says no, Kevin, when your customer says no on the phone, do you just say okay and hang up right away?
No. I don't.
Okay.
Not on the first one.
No?
Takes a few
Oh.
before we'll actually hang up.
Okay.
We've got to hear that quite a few times before you're going to get a yes.
I pretty much, all people in sales, they hear no all the time in one form or another. Al, why don't you tell us a little bit about the no, and how we can figure out whether a no really means no?
Well, I tell you what. So you might hear several no's, several kind of obstacles to closing a sale before you actually get a yes.
Right.
So I actually try to get the no out when I'm in a sale. Mm-hmm. So when I engage with a customer, I'm going to dig with investigation and questions that might uncover, like what their buying decisions and how they think and what they're up against. And I might even say no to them sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not willing to do this, man. I can't do that.
Right.
There's going to be. I like the word no. I just saying. I love it.
Okay.
Give it to me.
But sometimes the no is actually a no, but the challenge is, and the art of it is trying to figure out whether that no really is a no.
True.
And knowing when you need to say no to a customer.
Yeah, sometimes it's a concern.
Okay.
Right? An objection might be a concern.
Mm-hmm.
It just means you need a little bit more information.
Mm-hmm.
So I run right into an investigation question, or I just put a pin in it and tackle it later.
Okay. Give me
I use the words other than.
Okay.
You ever heard that?
Yes.
So I'll say, other than that, is there any reason, we can't move forward, or is there anything else that might be holding you up? Mm-hmm. And I try to dig deeper into the investigation process to understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. And if that concern is kind of just overcome by an other than, mm-hmm. and then another value added, why stop there? Just finalize things and wrap it up for the customer.
But there is a point. There can be a point where, as a salesperson, you realize that even though your customer wants to pursue and move on with the sale, you know that they shouldn't. Is that right? You're not going to be able to provide the service that they need?
Yeah, if I'm not right for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do that for them.
Because here at Conoquip, we have a lot of customers call for certain things, and we steer them away, try to steer them away from the sale, even though specifically used engines, right?
Right.
Okay, Kevin, tell us about the used engine debacles and our policies here now.
Yeah, so obviously with a used engine, there's so many variables that play into what you're going to end up with mm-hmm. versus what you're expecting. And most people, they expect what they want, and what they want is not what they're going to get.
Right.
So
mm-hmm.
we've shied away from that because it's tough. It's tough to address that. Have every salesman address an engine the way it should be properly addressed prior to sale, mm-hmm. and just for the benefit of our company's view and the public, to our customers, we just call them cores now, which basically is saying that it is rebuildable, can be fixed to work, mm-hmm. but don't expect it to be a running engine
right
from the jump, because there's just too many variables.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bad for the customer. Mm-hmm. They aren't set up for what's available out there. Mm-hmm. In reality, a lot of times in that situation, in other situations, you just have to assess what their risk, taking a comfortability is, mm-hmm. and just be straight. And that's why, like Kevin said, we'll take something that's used from other people's description and call it, no, this is not usable as is. You call it a core. You're going to have to put a lot of work into it to get it working, possibly, because what they're hoping for, like Kevin can attest to this, they're hoping to get a used engine, right? For what reason?
To save them a lot of cash.
Right. Saving cash. You you get what you pay for, right? That's like it's a rule written into the universe. And we've seen time and time again out of thousands and thousands of transactions, tens of thousands of transactions, man, it never works out that you save anything. You usually lose.
Right.
It's just crazy. So there are lots of times in that scenario, we'll just say, no, we're just not going to do that to you almost.
So does a sales professional have an obligation to steer a customer away from a sale when they know that there could be a problem for that customer?
You want to point out what they're going to get. You want to set the expectation.
Okay,
is ultimately what you're doing. And when we do this, like in this scenario with a used engine, when we tell them it's a core, I would say most of the time when they get it being called a core, they're probably pleasantly surprised with what they end up with.
Okay,
because it's closer to a good used engine than it is a core in most cases.
Gotcha.
So you're lowering that bar, and then when they get it, hey, it's kind of like, hey, you get this part in probably about 3 or 4 days, and then it ends up there in 1 or 2. Hey, you know what? You set the bar here. It delivered early. You're the hero. Versus the opposite.
When I was Christmas shopping for my kid, he wanted to do some gaming. He wanted to get a gaming computer and the entire setup. So I went into a computer store to get some gaming equipment, and the sales professional there could tell right away that I just had no idea what I was doing, and it could have been, close to $1,000 worth of equipment if I continued down the path. And that sales professional said along the lines, why don't you start out with, just a couple small pieces, and without getting into all the technicality of it all, he actually ended up saving me about $800 because I wasn't ready to make the purchases that I was, seeking. And he ended up really kind of steering me away from a sale and helped me out. And I really appreciate that. In fact, I most certainly will if and when I'm ready to buy that stuff for him. We'll go back there. But he steered me away from a sale. He basically took a guy that was ready to just dump, $800 on this stuff and took care of me that way. Al, do you have other situations or scenarios that you can think of where a salesperson should probably not get involved in a transaction with a customer?
I would have to say, if someone is not understanding what the real problem is, I usually try to shut things down.
Okay.
Throughout the years, and I learned from my mistakes. I was young in the business, probably 15, 16 years ago, and there was somebody who wanted a product, and I didn't know enough to investigate if they actually needed it. Even just asking, like, hey, has a technician come out and confirm this? And I sent it out to them. And then they called me back and said, oh, yeah, we need this. That didn't work. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they go to a different thing within the same hydraulic system on this machine. I send another thing out to them. And they call me back in like a week. Yeah, we're thinking about this. And, oh, what happened with that stuff? Did it work? No. And so they kept on replacing these parts, right?
Right.
And I had to say, dude, I am not going to sell you one more thing.
Yeah.
This is impossible. You can't just go ahead and spend $2,000 here, $3,000 here, $5,000 here, and like, haven't you called your local dealer? Haven't you called someone with a hydraulic system, gauges, and get them out there and figure it all out? No, not yet. No. And I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't let you continue to waste money. Anyways, my point is like, there's always ways that if you do the genuine care for your customer, that you'll come up against these things. You just have to recognize, hey, I don't need this particular one, right? Commission or sale over doing the right thing.
Right.
Because it'll all work out. Like you said, Steve, you'll probably go back to them if they took care of you in the way that is unique, right?
Right.
And I like that concept because then you can build trust. Someone can trust you, and that's kind of rare in the world right now.
Right. And if and when things go sideways with a sale that you shouldn't be making to a customer, obviously there's a good chance you're going to circle back around and seek some sort of resolution that's going to take up more of your time and, of course, tarnish your reputation in the beginning.
So your question was, does no mean no?
Well, yeah. Actually, the topic of the day should say, should you ever say no? Or when is no good for your customer, I guess, is another topic probably.
Let's change the topic,
title.
Steve.
Okay. And now it's time for our topic of the day. And the topic of the day is
Is no okay to say to your customer?
I didn't like that one. Let's do another one.
Let's do it one more time.
That was too long. And that brings us to our topic of the day. And the topic of the day is...
Can you say no to your customer? No.
I didn't like that one either. And our topic of the
I like
day is...
Should you pull the no card?
The no card. Just the no card. And our topic of the day is...
The no card.
Or we'll go with that one. Okay, good discussion. And now it brings us to the next segment, and it is... Al, your thought for this podcast.
Well, if you're 220 pounds and you're going up against a 160-pounder, 1 foot shorter than you, do not underestimate that 160-pounder.
Nope.
He might put you in a double arm bar
That's
within
right.
seconds. Just say no sometimes.
Yeah, just say no. I am not taking this guy on. My gosh. And that brings us to the end of the 46 Selling for Life podcast. Remember, you can check out our website at sellingforlife.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. So remember, whether you're selling glow-in-the-dark doorknob covers or you're trying to convince a customer, no, you really don't need this, don't buy it. One thing is for sure, you're always selling for life.